Hello, I'm Denise Hill. I love sharing stories of my experiences with celebrities, politicians, some of your favorite musicians and artists, but most importantly, I love sharing the stories of everyday people. Their lives serve as opportunities to inspire, empower, and educate. It is my honor to share the stories of those who fought the fight against breast cancer and won. The So Alive Project is all about sharing the stories of survivors and caregivers. Whether you are in the fight, a survivor yourself, supporting someone who is in the fight, or just want to be informed, my hope is that this story will bless you. Please make sure you subscribe to this page or set your notifications on all social media so you don't miss one. I am at The Denise Hill. One of these stories just might change your life. I'm Denise Hill, and this is the So Alive Project. I'm here with the legendary Candi Staton. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great. I'm blessed.
Listen, you are a phenomenal woman. Of course, I could go through the many accolades of your award-winning music career, and you've done so much. But I believe it might have been last year or earlier this year that I saw a social media post that really displayed your courage and your strength. And that's when you announced to the world that you were battling breast cancer.
Yes. Yes, and a battle it was. It was a battle. Yes, it was.
So let's talk about it, because I believe everyone's story has the potential of inspiring and even just changing lives of somebody who's experiencing something similar. Nobody's story is exactly like someone else's, but you know, we're freed by the testimonies of others, and so I would love it if you're able to share your testimony. Can we start from the beginning?
Yes, we can. You know, I've never been a person that's been sick. I've never had a lot of sickness. Normal stuff, colds, flus, maybe a little bit here, something there, body ache here, there, whatever. But never anything really serious. Not death serious.
Yeah.
But this came upon me. I was not expecting it. It was never, it's not in the genes of my family, generational, line, the genes of my ancestors or my mother or my father or anybody else. I was an isolated case.
How did you discover it?
It was amazing. I always check my breast. I've always, since I learned how to do it, one doctor showed me how to do it, female gynecologist. And I check my breast like every night. You know, you lay down and you put your arm across your neck and you take your other hand and you walk it all the way around, over and over around, to see if you find any suspicious knots or anything that's not supposed to be there.
What age were you when you were taught that?
I was taught that like in my 40s.
Okay.
So I've been doing that for a long, long time, and I just do it. It just became a habit.
Yeah.
Then I lay down. I said, I'm checking my breast, But I'd been checking, and so this particular time, I just got out of the shower, and I was drying myself off and put the lotion on, and I felt a knot, felt a lump in my left breast. And I'm like, that's not normal. And I thought it was going to go away. You know how you are. It'll go away. It'll probably just something that just popped up. It'll go away. But it didn't. I waited about 3 or 4 days, and I kept feeling it, and it was just still there.
Wow.
And so I made an appointment to see my gynecologist, and he brought me right in, and he said, well, let me he made an appointment for me to come straight there. And he examined me. He said, yeah, there is something there, but it doesn't feel suspicious. He said it moved.
That was my question. What does feeling suspicious mean?
Yeah, he said it doesn't feel suspicious because it moves. And he, usually a tumor doesn't move. It just sits.
A cyst would move.
So, yeah, and according to his rendition of it, I guess he's experienced enough to know, be checked before. So, but he said, anyway, we're going to be careful. So we're going to send you to get a biopsy. Well, he did. I went and he made the order, and I went and got the biopsy. It took 2 weeks for the biopsy to come back. And I was getting ready to do I had just come out with Unstoppable, and we were getting ready to do a promotional tour. And it came out, it was in August. I found the little tumor in the last part of July, and it was scheduled for me to go on tour in August. And the day we were starting to rehearse to go on tour, I got my results back. And the doctor told me that it was carcinoma.
Wow.
And at first I didn't understand it. I didn't want to hear that. I said, "Oh, it's not. It's not carcinoma." She said, "Yeah, it is."
So this is last year, 2018. 2018, you had been checking yourself regularly, and now all of a sudden that it would, I'm assuming, would feel like that came out of nowhere, like you were as preventative as possible.
Popped up overnight. It's just like it came up overnight. It just came up and came out. So they wanted to send me to see an oncologist, but I didn't because I was in rehearsal. And I did not stop what I was doing, Denise. I just kept doing what I was doing, even though in the back of my mind it was always there. I got something inside of me that's growing, maybe, and maybe even it could be deadly. But I didn't pay it any attention. I just kept doing what I was focused on doing, getting the songs ready, doing the tour, going from city to city. I had my band together, and we were rehearsing every day to get the tour, get the band tight. Let no one know what was going on in my body. The only person that knew was my oldest son, who was bass player. And he was in the car when I got the report. So he was the only one out of the whole band that knew anything was going on.
Wow. And
I think I told my daughter, and she went to pieces. And so, I don't know, every time you think, when people say you got cancer, they just think that's a death sentence. And so after the tour was over, I went to see Dr. Yamaguchi, who was an oncologist, and we did another biopsy. She sent me to the hospital to get it. I just didn't believe it. I did not believe I had it. I just did not believe it.
How long was that period between? I mean, how long was the tour?
The tour was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then I went and got myself checked, and it was about a 1. It wasn't quite a 1, and it was contained, and it was not in my lymph nodes, which was good.
Yeah.
And so, to make a long story short, things didn't work out with the first with the first doctor. I didn't like the hospital she was taking me to because it didn't have good ratings. And my granddaughter got busy, and she she contacted Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and they accepted me, and they took another biopsy when I was there, and they made sure, and they took a CT scan and everything to make sure that I did really have it, and so they started me on chemo, and I did 10 rounds of chemo.
Wow.
And it was not easy. It was Dr. John McKnight was my oncologist. He's a doctor there, one of the staff doctors there, and he's good. And he made sure, he said, we're going to shrink it. We're going to shrink it. A lot of times they shrink so until you don't have to really do that much. If you go in, you just take out the tissue around it where it was. And I said, I am not taking chemotherapy. It was like, I said, oh, no, I said, I'm not getting sick like this. He said, well, they really at CTCA, they have a team that looks at each person individually.
Yeah.
And they got doctors for every area of your body. And so they looked and they put the chemo to. He said, "Don't worry, I'm not one of my patients ever throw up. I did not want to go around just not being able to keep nothing down." And I said, "I can't be that sick. I don't feel like being that sick. I'd just rather go on and die." You know. He said, "You're not gonna die." He said, you're not going to die. He said, and my patients don't get sick. And I didn't get sick once.
Wow.
The whole 10 weeks. The only thing I got was neuropathy in my feet, where it was like, on the bottom of my feet kind of felt numb, and he stopped the chemo right there. And then I was supposed to go 12 weeks, but he stopped it at 10. And then they waited for about 4 weeks after that. And Denise, it didn't grow. That's how good God is.
Yeah.
It formed. The weapon formed against me, but it didn't prosper.
Love it.
God took care of me. I am a woman of faith, and I have been saying, I know the 91st Psalms from the beginning to the ending, and I say it every day over my body. No plague shall come nigh my dwelling place. He shall give his angels charge over me to keep me in all my ways, to bear me up in their hands, lest I dash my foot against a stone. I say that every day. No plague shall come nigh my dwelling place. God, and I would always say, no weapon formed against me will prosper. And I would say, by his stripes, I am healed. I went around saying the word of God over me all day, all night, all day, all night, and that thing never grew. It was just there. And after 4 weeks, after chemo, they did the operation. And the doctor took out all the tissue around it, and it took about 4 or 5 weeks for that to heal, and it takes a long time.
Yeah.
This is a long process. And the breast was sore. It was, it just went through the changes and scar tissue, the whole 9 yards. It was so uncomfortable, but they didn't have to remove any lymph nodes because they tested all the lymph nodes around the breast, and it was none in any of the nodes. And then after that, after it breast healed about 5 weeks, they gave me about 5 weeks, and then they started radiation. They gave me 30 rounds of radiation.
Wow.
In that area around where the tumor was. And then after the radiation, I didn't go back for a while. And when I did go back, they tested me again to see did I have any cancer in my body. All the scans came back negative.
Love it.
I was cancer-free.
Wow. To God be the glory.
To him be the glory.
So to somebody like myself who's not as well-versed, having not gone through the experience, my first question would be, well, if you can shrink it to remove it, why not just remove it in the first place?
That's what I thought. Just remove it. I said, why do you have to go through all of this? He said, because there may be little rogue, R-O-U-G-E, rogue ones hanging around in the fatty and the nerve tissues. Sometimes they hide. I had triple negative, and that's a very sneaky cancer. It knows how to hide to look normal. It is. When I learned so much about this thing, I could teach a class.
Listen, that's why this conversation is so important, because I had no idea there were so many different varieties and so many different types. I had no idea even about a stage 0. What is that?
Yeah.
It's so much to be told to everyone.
The cancer is very sneaky. And that's why a lot of times it comes back because they don't take precaution. Dr. McKnight and the oncologist, Anita Johnson, she's a black oncologist lady. She did the surgery. She said, girl, I took out more tissue than I should have. I want to make sure that thing never comes back. She said, it's not going to linger around nowhere and jump up somewhere else. She said, sometimes the reason they give you that much radiation around that area, they want to kill all of the little ones, the baby ones, that might be, that you can't even see microscopically. You can't even see it. But they wanted to make perfectly sure that they got them all.
Wow.
In that case, I didn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
And I didn't, it wasn't bad. It, even though I had after effects of, naturally you're going to have some after effects. It's just that much chemo in you and that much, all my hair came out. I looked like I was bald-headed. Girl, I was it's like, when my hair first started coming out, I just went to screaming and crying.
Oh.
I was like, no. Oh, and I was just taking my hand and just pulling handfuls. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Just pulling handfuls of hair out your head, because it not only kills the bad cells, it kills the good ones.
Yeah.
Chemo kills all of the cells. Now, the good part about that is the good cells come back, but the bad cells die. And that takes time for the good cells to regrow. And my hair is back. I have about 3 inches now on my head, which is good.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling so much better. Girl, I'm feeling so much better. And I'm still hanging on to my faith. And I just wanted to let women know out there, please check yourself. Because the earlier you find it, the easier it is for them to heal it. There are a lot of different types. And Dr. McKnight told me, he says, you had one of the worst types. A lot of black women have triple negative. Triple negative is a fast growing. It grows fast. It's fast growing, and you have to do it quickly. Because when he said, "You mean to tell me 3 months have passed and you haven't had any treatment?" I says, "No." He said, "Oh God, we got to get to work." And but it hadn't grown. God made that thing stand still.
So let me ask you about your spiritual walk during this. You mentioned that you were continually reciting scripture, that you held on to your faith. Mm-hmm. At any point, did you question why you were even chosen for this battle to begin with, having been a woman of faith, having inspired and encouraged so many others, and been a vessel used by him? Like, had you ever said in a dark moment, God, why me?
Yeah. I can't even imagine how many times I asked that question. God, I thought we were tight. Why have I got to go through this? And sometimes if you don't go through it for yourself, you go through it for others. You go through things, you be tested, and you can be able to tell other women what to do, and you'll be able to encourage other women that if I came through this, you can too. I came through it, you can come through it, because a lot of people just give up. A lot of people just give up. You can't imagine the statistics that people find that they have cancer and go home and take an overdose of sleeping pills.
Wow.
And just get out. They just go. They don't want to go through it because they don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. They know it's just a lot of pain and suffering and misery. The whole year, I went through a year. I couldn't eat. Our food didn't taste right. Everything was bitter. I had to just force myself to eat. I had no appetite. It was just a horrible experience. But then I'm better off than a lot of people because technology has really advanced. Because back in the day, I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
And CTCA, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, they have technology. They have top of the line, everything, top of the line. And I had some of the best doctors you could ever pay for.
Yeah, I think the challenge comes in those who they don't have the means to access those technologies, or they're not chosen for that top program. Like, what can you say to them to tell them how to advocate for themselves? Because you did that at the beginning. You said, listen, you need to test this thing. You need to check this out. How to advocate for themselves, how to get into the proper networks and utilize the various programs. What can you say to that marginalized population that doesn't have access to, which a lot of times are people of color, who don't have access to some of the top-notch technology?
Well, I tell you now, a lot of people don't know this, but Cancer Treatment Centers of America has a lot of programs. Try it. Call them. They will ask you a lot of questions, but I see people go there that don't even have money.
Wow.
A lot of us, a lot of black people, very poor people don't have money. They have benevolence programs for them. So you have to, call these places, find out, don't just go to the first doctor or the hospital and then you can't afford it and you don't have insurance and all that stuff. They will help you. There are people out there that will help you. You don't give up. You keep trying until you find somebody that will help you. See, what happens sometimes, Denise, we give up.
Yeah.
We just give up. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to lay here. I'm going to die. And family is begging you to, I've seen women there pregnant with cancer.
Wow.
They come in pregnant. God, girl, I prayed for so many people up and down that hallway. I prayed for so many people. I hugged so many people. I bought so much medication for folk while I was there because they didn't have the money, and I would just give. Wow. But it's like a whole community, and people have to just check it out. Just check it out and see what comes of it, Get you a biopsy. Find out if you got something that feels suspicious, regardless of where it is, in your body, in your stomach, in your back, on your leg, whatever. Get a biopsy. Check it out. Because the food we eat is not worth a dime.
Say that.
And I had myself tested the genealogy, for the genes in my family. I didn't want my daughter to be able to, the BRCA gene, that goes through. But I didn't have it. I asked the lady when my results came back, I said, why do you think that I got this? I'm just an isolated case, you say. What could have caused me? She said, it was your lifestyle.
Wow.
It's your lifestyle. She said, you have a stressful lifestyle. You get up in front of thousands of people. You sing. You're always busy. You're traveling. You're going from country to country. You could have gotten it anywhere.
Wow.
It's the food you eat. It's the stress that you go through. And I know you know my story. You've seen my story. I've told you so many times, so many failed marriages. And, you're getting with the wrong person, wrong choices in your life. You think that you can put up with somebody that it's just that you can't do it. But you do it anyway. You know he beats you. You know he drags you across the floor and bloodies your nose, but you're so in love you can't leave him. That adds up emotions, and it goes into the weakest part of your body, and it starts congregating and causes tumors. And that's how it all starts. She said, it's your lifestyle.
Wow. So how have you made adjustments since? Because I'm assuming you're not going to stop singing. It didn't take your voice.
Oh, no. No, I'm going to keep doing exactly what I'm doing. God has given me the gift to do until he takes me out of here. So, I've changed a whole lot. Oh, yeah, I've changed a lot. I am calmer. I don't do no more than I have to do. I'm not going to rush myself. I'm not doing 30-day tours anymore. I'm not doing 9-day tours anymore. I might do maybe 3 here, maybe 2 somewhere, maybe make an appearance every once in a while, but not like I used to. I was running myself, so I was going to Europe 3 and 4 times a year, going on that long flights up in the air, smelling all that those fumes, and you're kind of shaky and the turbulence and stuff. All that has an effect on your physical body. And I'm no spring chicken. I am getting up in age. So sometimes you have to know, you got to understand where you are in terms of age. I've had so many of my friends to leave this earth. Aretha, one of my best friends, one of my good friends are gone. And look at Nancy. And look at Billy Paul. And, all of these guys, they were friends of mine. David Guest and all of these people were friends of mine, and all of these people died. And most of them died of cancer.
That's a serious word.
I just had one of my friends to die last week. Was on with the Muscle Shoals Sound, one of the originals that was on some of my earlier records. Jimmy Johnson, he passed away. Rick Hall passed away. He had cancer. He was my first producer. Wow. And the drummer, Randy had cancer. And Percy Sledge, he died of cancer as well.
Wow.
And I was just with him a year before, just a few months before. Matter of fact, Percy and I were supposed to go on tour together. I wasn't going on this particular tour, and he said, Candi, please come on this tour. I said, Percy, I don't want to go on it. I don't want to go over there. He said, do it for me. I said, okay, Percy. He said, and then within 3 months, he was dead.
Wow.
Before the tour even started. Wow. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is so sad. So, it's just on the wall of CTCA is 1 out of every 8 people walking has cancer.
Wow.
That is high statistics.
That's too high. Especially
It's too high.
if something like a lifestyle change can lower your risk.
It can. You can calm down, and you don't have to let things worry you. You know, don't let nothing just take your mind and worry you, and people in your life that don't belong there, you know, and they don't. You'll end up with the short end of the stick. Trust me. So just calm down, pray a lot, get your rest, eat right, you know, get your sleep. And I'm not saying you won't get it. I'm not saying that at all, but your chances are better if you do. I just want to see women, especially women, take care of yourself. Check yourselves. If you find anything suspicious, go get it checked. It may save your life.
Well, we're so glad you checked, followed up, advocated for yourself, and was brave enough to share your story, because you could have just never posted anything, waited till the hair came back, threw a wig on, acting like everything was okay, and nobody ever would have known. But you inspired and strengthened so many others just from a social media post, being transparent and encouraging people that to know that they're not alone. Some aren't alone, and others to make sure that they were able to do what they could do to not be in that particular number, but be a support to perhaps others who are.
I was so grateful for Instagram and Facebook and all the social media. You don't know how much encouragement that they gave me. I mean, they were there. They were like, I didn't know them personally, but they would put things on my Instagram. They would shout out to me, girl, hang in there. My mother had it, and she's a survivor, and God is with you. You're a fighter. Fight on. Do not give up. We're praying for you. Our whole church is praying for you. I had so much, even from South Africa and Australia, they were coming in. And they helped me, and I am so grateful today, let alone my family. My family was always with me. They were always there for me. They helped take care of me. They took me back and forth for my treatments, and they never acted like they were just glad to do it. They wanted to see me well. And they were just there for me. And I will never, ever forget this.
We're so glad you are well, and you are a survivor. Unstoppable, Candi Staton.
Yeah, well, they need to go out and get that record and listen to it.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't know at the time that songs on that record, I didn't know at the time that I was going to be facing this. And all of those songs just kind of fit in.
Yeah.
You know, to what I was going through. I got confidence and, you know, and all that, those songs, uplifting songs that I was singing them to myself and didn't even know it.
Well, all the love you received from everyone on social media and in person, all the encouragement and love is just a drop in the bucket of what you've given so many, including myself, over many, many, not just years, but decades of service and song and inspiration. So we thank you. We celebrate you. And anytime you want to give more insight, information, encouragement, you know you have a microphone right here with me.
I know I do, and thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Love you.
And if I can be any help, you know, to anybody, help encourage anybody, just hang on to the Word of God. Keep tape over and over and over again. Never stop. Let it be like a broken record. Stay there until you see results.
Love, love, love it. Love you.
Love you too, Denise.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
My hope is that this story has helped to educate you, empower you, and encourage you. We offer all the love and support we can for those who are in the darkest of moments, and we celebrate that we're so alive for those who have been victorious and survived the great challenge they call breast cancer. Most importantly, I honor the legacies of those who are at rest from the fight. I appreciate each and every person for their willingness to share their story, and I look forward to bringing you more. Make sure to follow me on social media. I am the Denise Hill. You stay blessed.